Shalom, 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 saints of the Most High Yah. This is Pastor Rufus coming to you from the servants of Yah with a quick video here. I've been getting a question from people that I think is worthy of a video response and worthy of me giving them an answer. And the topic that I say many, but many to me could be 2, 3, 4 people. All right. But the topic that's on some people's minds is what made me stay in a structure like this one pot system structure and living on community structure where everybody gives all their wealth over to one individual and let that one individual control it. What made me stay in a system like that, knowing now that it is a Antichrist type of system? And the answer is because I never thought in my mind I was in that type of system, honestly. Again, what a lot of folk don't understand about the structure of how that said ministry I used to be in used to run, every individual community ran on its own. It was not run by the hub or by any other community. You stood on your own as a individual entity community, right? So with me running Georgia and starting Georgia, I never once thought about it from that perspective. Like everyone's turning their wealth over to me for me to divvy out and decide. What I viewed it as is, we're bringing our resources together and we're building this up together. And, part of that, I know in the end, when the Most High revealed to me how to, even in that structure, the way that it was put together with foundations, unincorporated foundations, which actually ended up, for most of them, not the one I have, because I still have my foundation, but most of them, their foundations ended up being incorporated because they're taking public benefits and they're using them, and that in turn automatically makes them incorporated. They think it is not, but they'll find out down the road. I never once used the tax benefit. I still have my tax ID card. I have never once used it though for anything for the community, anything of that magnitude. No building materials, no bills, no nothing, no supplies, no materials. I never once used my tax ID thing, a part of my foundation. So I do believe we're still in an unincorporated state, which means private, pretty much, y'all. Corporated means public, unincorporated means private. And for me, I was able to find out in the end how to still put parcels of land in the brethren's names under the foundation. Because when you're in the foundation, you have to have an executor, right? And the executor is the one that controls it. They're the one that is essentially the owner of it. So I found out how, when I could quick claim different levels of parcel lots, right? When I quick claimed it from a personal name, like it was in my name, if I quick claimed it to the foundation, then the foundation would have to assign an executor over that parcel of land, and I could have assigned the brethren over that. Now, after more and more research, is that the route I would go in the future to do it? No. I think there's more security in trust, actually, and I would advise people to do just an individual trust. If you have land or assets or anything of that magnitude, I would say put it in a trust. And I don't want to make this video about trust. I want to make this video about mindset. How we've been told and we've been warned by the Messiah himself that in this last days, it's going to be high level of deception. He told the disciples, the first thing out of his mouth when they was inquiring of him about these buildings and everything in Matthew 24, he was like, look, don't be deceived. Don't be deceived. And I remember years and years and years ago in my 20s, early 20s, when I read that, how my mind went to, wow, if he's talking about that being in the last days, and then they also speak about how that if it was possible, even the very elect could be deceived. if it wasn't for him speeding up the days. I'm like, wow, the deception on the earth is going to be so strong, nobody can resist it. So when you see and find yourself in a situation like we were in recently with this said ministry we were a part of, and understanding that the doctrine that they're teaching is actually an anti-Christ doctrine, I'm not surprised that hundreds upon thousands of us, because hundreds of thousands of us fell for that. Now, fell for it, I say, in a sense of people that ended up giving a whole lot and lost a whole lot. People that invested years and decades in it and are not going to get any return from it. And then those that continue in it, knowing that it is a false doctrine that's being taught, that you have zero book to show where you get one individual, no matter if he's a bishop, a pastor, an apostle, his title is irrelevant. But if you get one individual that is collecting all of the funds and collecting all of the assets, and he is controlling all of that, and then he's doing a thing like telling you that your soul salvation rests and relies on being a part of his group. Like if you're not a part of his group, you're automatically going to hell. You're going back to the beggar elements of the world. That's clearly something that's anti-Christ, and that's clearly something that the apostles, especially Paul, warned us about that was going to be coming. He said there are going to be many Christs that come. These people take on the mindset that they are the living Christ. It's an offshoot of the Catholic system. The Catholic system that is ruling and running all of religion in the world today, doesn't matter what you call it, always puts a man in a position of God. It puts a pope, it puts a bishop. The name is irrelevant. The title is the most irrelevant part. But what it does is it puts a man in a position where it will control and dictate the lives of many. And that is the main reason why the Messiah came, so that first off, we didn't have to that we did not have to succumb to sin, and to show us that he is our true salvation, that he is our true king. He is the one that has sacrificed, a sacrifice that nobody else could do. No one else on this earth was ever going to be worthy to sacrifice for us the way the Messiah did for us. Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ. Okay? So people wanted to know, like, what made me stay in it so long is because I always felt in my mind we were building wealth together. We were all taking all of our resources. And again, it wasn't the type of thing where I didn't work and I didn't have funds coming in. You see what I'm saying? I worked for 2011 to 2018. So for the first 7 years of it, I was working and I was bringing in the most money. So did that matter to me? No, it did not. Again, to me, it's being the example. I should be the one going out working and coming and building up the community and giving all. How can I expect this of others if I'm not doing it myself? So it was never in Georgia a situation where I was just sitting back, I had no income coming in, and I'm just living off the benevolence of other saints. It was never that. And even after 2018, my family still brought in more money than any other family that ever lived on that community. So I never viewed it as me taking in all their money, because we were giving all of our money as well. You see what I'm saying? And we were building it up for the kingdom. And I was excited, even though I knew some things was finna go down, I was excited to know that I had figured out a way, even in this crooked system that was set up, this wicked system, to be able to still empower brethren and give them land in their name. And I was excited about that. Now, again, I've done more research since then. I would not recommend that, even though I still have my foundation for specific reasons. I would recommend trust. I would recommend you go the trust route. And depending on your needs, your desires, your family size, the things that you got going on, what type of trust to do. I tell you, somebody that has a lot of knowledge on trust, Brother Ryan, you could tell he knows a lot about trust. And I know other brethren as well, elders in the ministry of Yah. In the ministry of Yah, I'm talking about elders in the ministry that know about this kind of legal stuff and all that. But my personal recommendation would be, if you got assets and you got land and homes and all that stuff, you should do it through a trust, honestly. And I won't go too deep. If you want more information, you can call me. I can help you with that as well. But that's what allowed me to stay in it as long as I was, because I always saw it as us building together. We all are putting in this thing and we're all doing the work. It's not you putting in and you doing all the work. It was never that in Georgia. Never that. Never that. You see what I'm saying? Never that. So that's why I didn't have that mentality that, I got all these brothers out here, they're bringing me all this money, and now I'm going out, and just because I'm the head, I get to go out and buy myself all these fancy cars and big houses and fancy vacations and spend thousands here. I never lived like that. I never lived like that. Like I said, I had a brother one time on one of my videos, he made a comment and he said something to the effect, I'm trying to remember exactly how he said it, but he said, no, he had a video. It wasn't a comment. He made a video. Fates and Gates is his name if you want to go see it. He made a video and he made a comment in there about how, and again, this is a brother from the outside that don't know me, nobody else in the ministry. He's looking from the outside, making an assumption. And he was just like, well, the reason that I was willing to be a mouthpiece for the ministry is because I was living high on the hog and I was living lavishly off the backs of other men. And I was like, brother, there could be nothing further from the truth. It's just not the truth. And again, I'll tell people, if you consider a 2013 Audi with 100,000 miles on it to be living high on the hog, I guess I am. I gotta drive something, but if you consider a 12-year-old vehicle with 100,000 miles to be living high on the hog, I guess I am, because that's the nicest vehicle I got. I mean, I'm in my Nissan van now. Y'all see, look at that. I got all the seats out. You know why? Because I've been moving, and I've been moving in this. You know what I'm saying? I've been moving in this. And this is a 2015. It's got almost 137,000 miles. If this is high on the hog, I guess I'm living high on the hog, y'all. You know what I mean? I got a 2006 Lincoln Mark LT. Some of y'all don't even know what that is. That's just a Ford truck, really, y'all. It's a Lincoln truck made by Ford. But it's a 2006, y'all. That truck is almost, give it another year to be 20 years old, y'all. It's a 20-year-old truck. Now, if that's living high on the hog, I'm living high on the hog then, But again, men will speak things from a lack of knowledge and not have understanding. But I believe the reason why I was in it for so long and didn't see the red flags is because what we were doing in Georgia was not a red flag to me. It was literally a mindset and an effort to build everyone up. It was not just to make me, like the brothers would even tell you, if they would be honest right now, they would even tell you when it came time to building that new house that I was supposed to have, I actually fought against that. I did not want to build that house at that time. What I told the ministry is I want to build a brothers barrack so we can move 3 more families on that land so that they can get involved with what we were doing. And I was pretty much commanded, no, you build your house right now, and then when you move, then you can start moving other brethren. I literally was commanded to do it. And so that's why we went ahead and did it. But you saw the spirit of all the saints when they came to build that house for me and my family. If you haven't, go back in my archives. You can see the video on there, how they truly feel about elder, because I was elder at the time. And all leadership, all brethren, they all gave their testimony of how they felt when it came to coming and building on that house for me. But at the end of the day, I'm actually happy that I never spent one night in that house. I'm happy that it never went down like that, because again, I would rather build it off of Yah. I would rather build it from a true, honest perspective. Now, let me say this. Do I believe the spirit of those brethren that helped and the sisters that helped when it came to that building was true? Yes, I believe they, in their hearts and their minds, because you could tell in their testimonies, they really felt like that was going to be a blessing for me and my family, and they felt like I deserved that for the level of work that I had put in. Now, mind you, it was not no mansion, y'all. It was a 40 by 80. If you know how to do math and do calculations for homes, the bottom level was 3,200 square feet. So it was originally going to be a 3,200 square feet home. Then we figured out how to do the trusses properly on the house, and it would give me another 900 square feet up top is what it ended up doing. And then Elder Becker came up with a very good idea to add what y'all call those dog houses, those That's sad. I can't remember the name of those things right now, but they look like little dog houses on top of your house. But that added a little bit more hallway space and all that. So it ended up being like 1,000 square feet that got added to the top. Far from a mansion. But again, it was going to be a big enough house for me and my family. I mean, I have a family, 1, 4, 5, 8 people. I got an eight people family. So that house definitely would have been suffice for us for 8 people. We would have been fine in that home. But I'm glad that it didn't, because again, it was being built. Well, let me put it this way. The motivation behind the individual that forced us to build it at that time, it was wicked. It was wicked, because that individual didn't want to be the only one in Israel building themselves a big old house. You know what I'm saying? So again, the when you have, like the book says, when you have a heart that's full of deceit and you are a hypocrite, the Most High is going to make sure that he exposes you and bring you low before all of the congregation. This is what he said he's going to do, and he's going to expose your secrets. This is what he said he's going to do. If you don't know where that is, that's in Sirach chapter 1, verses 29 and 30. Yah is true, and he's going to do what he said he's going to do. Now, as for me and my house, we're going to continue to serve the Most High Yah, y'all. We're going to continue to serve the Most High Yah. We're going to continue to serve his people in spirit and truth. And here's the number one thing: without obligation. Nobody that is affiliated, associated, fellowship, symbol with us is obligated to me as a pastor, me as an elder, and me as a brother. They're not obligated in any way. The only obligation they have is what the book tells them to, and that said, "Owe no man nothing but love." And the book commands us not to ever close our bowels of compassion, especially to them that are of the Yehudim. So again, I'm definitely a Hebrew. I'm definitely not out here sowing my royal oats. I'm definitely not out here living a life of sin. I'm definitely not out here trying to take advantage of anyone, because all of you know, none of you are paying for my livelihood. None of you are sending me tithes and offerings to take care of me and my family. Are there people that send us money that take care of the saints? Yes. But you would be surprised. It's not thousands of dollars coming in a month, y'all. It's just not. The majority that goes out to these saints come directly from myself or Elder Brent. Just the funds that the Most High is generating through what we're doing, flat out. That's 98%. Okay. Are there saints that give and say, "Look, we see what you're doing. We want to support it. I want to pay my tithes to somebody, so I want to send them to you." Okay, cool. I think I got 2 people that are doing that, and I think Elder Brent maybe has 1 or 2 people doing that to him. And again, I'm telling you, it's a blessing, because it's like, it seems like whenever that money comes in, there's something that's a need that we can quickly look and say, "Let's go take care of that now. Let's go take care of that. Let's go take care of that." So we thank the Father for it. But we don't want anybody out here with a misconception that myself or even Elder is living off any kind of saints. No, the Most High Yah is providing for us by the work of our hands, contrary to unpopular belief. Hallelujah. So we just thank the Father. We do. We thank the Father for his provision. We thank the Father for his revelation and in this last hour giving us this. Like he saw fit, y'all, to show us these things in this last hour. Just imagine if you were one of those that are still caught up in that deception. If you were one of those that's going towards that route. See, you get to a point where you want to say in the faith, like, "Man, I've not made it necessarily, but man, I'm here. This is it. I ain't got to do nothing after this." I literally thought in this last ministry that was going to be it. I would die in this ministry, but no, I'm not. And what I found out is that ministry ain't it. Because again, your ministry is, you are the temple of the Most High Yah. Your lifestyle is a ministry. Your lifestyle is what people should be peering into, looking at and saying, "Is this thing righteous? Is this thing showing the fruits of the Spirit? Or is this some kind of scam? Is this some kind of get rich quick thing that you ain't never finna get rich? You actually finna end up giving over all of your belongings. You're finna give over everything that you worked hard for, and you're gonna work your butt like a slave is what you're gonna do. You're gonna work like a slave. All for what? You can't even have a piece of paper with your name on it saying that this piece of land belongs to you, so you could tell your son or your daughter, "Look, this is something that pops and mom has worked hard for, and we're going to be able to give this to you. This is you. Now, what you can say in those situations is, well, all this land around here, it's yours, son. We'll be like, okay, Father, well, turn it over to me. Let me do what I want to do with it. See, you can't be the prodigal son in that situation, because the prodigal son went to his dad and said, what? Give me what is mine. It's an inheritance, right? When you have an inheritance, that means it belongs to you. And the prodigal son demanded what was his. And guess what? His dad gave it to him. How can you do that in a situation and you're tied to a ministry where one man controls all of that? And you're under that one man, and your son comes to you and say, I want mine. Give me what's mine. You said that this is going to be mine. This is part of my inheritance. I want it now because I want to do what I want to do with it. You can't do that in a situation like that. You're not going to be able to store up. It's because the book says a wise man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. How you going to do that when everything that pertaineth to you is related and controlled by one individual? And if he get in his feelings and he gets in his emotion, he gets butthurt and needs some preparation H, what you going to do to him? Because at any time he could say, you know what? You're contentious. He could start slandering you. You're sowing discord just because you disagree. You're being rebellious, and it's time to get you out of here. And then you got nothing, because when you leave, he's not going to give you nothing. No car, no money, no nothing. You're not going to get nothing. So again, I thank the Father that we at this stage where he says that my sheep will hear my voice. So when he starts saying, you need to look at this close, you need to look at this, that's what the sheep will do. They will start to look at it. And again, they can make that decision to walk in fear or walk in power, love, and a sound mind. It's just a choice. It's just a choice. At the end of the day, you're going to be held accountable for the choice that you make. Will you be afraid of the faces of these men? Will you walk in fear? Will you let men intimidate you and grind you? Or will you stand for Yah? Will you walk in faith? Again, I still got, I'm going to say this and I'm going to get out of here. Brother Ray, I got so much respect for you, brother. I hope you hear this video, because what you did was you exercised faith. You were in a situation that you got tricked and bamboozled in. I know you lost a boatload of money. You labored tirelessly for years, and you got zero for it. When I say zero, this man ended up leaving that compound in a U-Haul truck, y'all. Y'all know U-Haul truck is like this thing is now, 2 seats. And he had his wife and 4 children. And he had less than $400 in his pocket, y'all. But look how he's doing now. He's got a place. He's got a good job. He's got money coming in. He's able to provide for his family. He's able to take care of them in any way they need, shape, fashion, form. And here's the number one thing he has. Right here, he's free. And he who the Son sets free is free indeed. So I have much more respect for a man of that magnitude that will step out and say, you know what? I don't care what happens. I would rather be free than be in bondage. I would rather be free than be in bondage. See, even Moshe understood that. Even Moshe understood that when he was living in the king's palace, right? He was living high on the hog, right? But he saw the condition of his people. And he said, I would rather go down there and be in physical bondage, but free here. I'd rather go be with my people and go through the physical slavery that they're going through than to live in bondage, but have the final luxuries in life. You know, kind of like these football players and entertainers and all this kind of stuff. They got a lot of freedom, but they know they bound. They know they're in bondage. They're in bondage because of what the book says. The root of all evil is what? It is the love of money. The love of money. That is the root of all evil. And that's what these people chase. And they don't understand. You'll get that little bit of money. It's short-lived though. And guess what? The whole time you got it, you're going to be in a high level of bondage. There'll be no freedom. This is why the meek is going to inherit the earth. This is why you have to humble yourself in the sight of Yahweh and allow him to be the one to lift you up. Not your own personal thoughts, your own personal intellect and understanding, not your own personal talents. Hallelujah. But I hope I brought some clarity on this situation. And if not, keep sending the questions, y'all. Keep sending them. When I see it's worthy to talk about, I'll get on here and talk about it, make a video. I probably will not be going on this Shabbat morning because we're doing a regional fellowship. So I'll be traveling a little bit. So I will not, more than likely, unless the Most High tell me to get him do something real quick, but more than likely I will not be on this Shabbat morning. And I probably will not broadcast our fellowship. I just still don't feel led to do all of that. But I do thank the Father for it. And the day he tells me to, if he does, I will. But if he doesn't, I'm not. It's that simple. Inquiring minds want to know, but they want to know for wicked, deceptive reasons. You know what I mean? It's not like they're going to celebrate the fact that saints are staying together, that saints are still in fellowship and still assembling. They're not going to celebrate that. They would want to dissect and look at and critique and then make up lies and slanderous statements and try to speak curses. Y'all hear how much death has been tried to be spoken over me lately, y'all? Some people say I look like death. Now, to me, I look like I'm getting it in. It's been a lot of work and a lot of long hours. You know, anybody that knows what it takes to grind and put the midnight hour in to take care of y'all's people, you know how I look. You know how I look. But it's amazing how that word and that death and dead to me, death, all this is just trying to be spoken over me. I know people wish I was dead, but at the end of the day, it ain't my time. It's not my time. Hallelujah. Glory to the King. So saints, I hope this brought some clarity on my thoughts of why I stayed in that situation as long as I did, why and how I believe about community, because I still believe in community. I do. But I believe it should be the type of scenario kind of where, say you have a neighborhood already established and then everybody just comes in and starts buying up those homes in that neighborhood and turn that neighborhood into a real community. Every man needs to be able to stand on his own. He should not have to be living off of another man, because what you're doing then is putting yourself into bond servitude is what you're doing. And the Most High made that very, 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 very clear that that is not what we are supposed to be doing. We are not supposed to be turning our brethren into bond servants and our sisters into handmaids. We're not supposed to be doing that, y'all. We're not. At worst case scenario, we're supposed to have them as hired servants, meaning they come in, do whatever work, and we pay them. That's the worst case scenario, what we're supposed to be doing to our brethren. So if you got a neighborhood and everybody says, okay, we like this neighborhood, it's got 6 houses, let's start trying to buy all these houses up. And then you buy up all those houses and you got 6 saints that live in that neighborhood. Now you got you a nice little community. But at the same time, that acre of land they own, and that 5 acres they own, and that 10 acres they own, and that 6 acres they own, you own what you need. Some people don't need more than a few acres. You know what I mean? There's some people that don't need more than an acre. You know how much you can do with a football field? You know how much planting and growing and building you can do with a football field? Well, you know what? If you don't, go over to the anything on my page that shows you the old Straightway, Georgia, because the original land was only 1.22 acres. Then we added a third, so we got 1.5. Look at everything that's built on that land. What, 1.5 acres, y'all? 1.5 acres. Multiple homes, multiple trailers, multiple greenhouses, sheds, chicken coops. I mean, you can do a ton with an acre or acre and a half of land. All right. So imagine if you got 3 acres. Imagine if you like us, you got 5.5, 6 acres, something like that. Imagine if you got 10. Now, the more you got, the more responsibility you're going to have. So you're going to have to make sure you and your family can take care of that. You see what I'm saying? You got to make sure y'all can still take care of that. But at the end of the day, every man should be able to stand on his own as the patriarch and as the priest of his home. He should not have to give over any level of rulership in those areas to another man, ever. No man has the right to dictate another man's home. And when you live in this communal setting that's been pushed out here the most, that's exactly what the man is doing. He's giving over his spiritual rights and he's giving over his God-given rights as a man. I ain't doing it in the name of Jesus. All right. Bless y'all. Thank y'all. Shalom, shalom.